Hello and welcome to the Reading Entertainment Podcast, episode 415 for, what is it, September now. It's September 3rd, 2023. My name is Nathan Reeds-Ruth. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Roa McFain.
Eddie remember, something about September.
Oh, right, that song exists. And now, we are also joined by Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh. I don't know why I didn't remember your name. I've known you for over a decade.
Body-ya, say do you remember? Body-ya, dancing in September. Body-ya, never was a cloudy day.
You know what I like?
I made sure to get nice and away from the mic as I did that.
Yeah, you know what I really like is you clipping there.
Was I still clipping?
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't that bad. It's fine.
I made an effort.
You did. That's all right. That's why if I'm gonna
You gotta
say
wake up the
something yelled,
listeners.
Anyway, so where can we find you guys? What's the website name?
Aroa.website.
And what's that link that you want to draw people's attention to?
Now it's a link to Bug City Blues. That is a Shadowrun 6th World Edition actual play podcast. And I'll be honest, I haven't actually edited it all last week. I'd say that the week that we are finishing right now.
Yeah, that happens. Now, you can always listen to the other podcasts, though. Just
Clinton Score Classics, a Rise of the Rune Lords First Edition actual play podcast.
Yeah, you can inflate those numbers. It's evergreen content, so you can just keep listening to it over and over and over again.
And I'll probably end up getting that switched over to our new fantastic content hoster sometime, I don't know, this next week or something.
Oh yeah, have fun with that. That'll be smooth sailing, just like when getting the Reeton Entertainment podcast transferred over. By the by, do not delete the previous. Delete the previous podcast before everything is switched over.
No, make sure everything gets verified, and then you'll never need to have to pay for me on a monthly basis ever again.
Yeah. I mean, other than the streaming stuff, but that's a different story.
That's not just me. That's something you're doing because you want to do it.
Yeah. Anyway, you can find me, Nathan Reeds-Ruth, everywhere at Reeton, but mainly the big one is Twitch, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm actually going to be... So this week I'm doing my normal streams, and then next week I'm off. The following week, so the week after the 10th, I'll be off because work. I'm gonna be working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, away from the house, and then Thursday and Friday I am going to be in Las Vegas. And then I'll be coming back on Sunday, so I won't be able to do the podcast either next week or the following week. So if Aroa and Connor want to, they can have an Aroa and Connor cast.
Hell
if
yeah!
they want to.
Let's just trash talk Nathan for an entire hour.
That is typically what it is. Yeah, I'll listen to it on the drive home. I'll listen to the first one on the drive home from where I'm gonna be at.
This is just 40 minutes of MIDI fart noises.
That's it. And it's my most listened to podcast. What the hell? So let's ask Connor. What games? I know what Aroa's played, so we'll talk about that a bit. But Connor, what game?
Do you?
Yes,
right.
Connor, what game have you played this week? Game or games?
So as early aforementioned, I actually haven't done much but play games this week, which is great. I haven't done that in a minute now. And it all starts with an old classic called SimCity. Do you guys know of SimCity? Have you heard of SimCity?
Oh, you pull out your like Apple II and play it on there?
Close.
I thought you
Super
were talking
Nintendo?
about. I thought you were talking about the classic one that had online multiplayer only, and
Oh
No,
yeah,
I'm talking about
one.
the one that was a
That-
training tool that was actually used by civic engineers.
Oh.
No, I'm not. The one that I pulled out was the one for Super Nintendo, which it's just a delightful game. For a while, that was like my go-to. I'm gonna play something for 15 minutes before bed or whatever game. And I got to a point where I was like, man, I would have a lot more fun if this had just a little bit better graphics. So I installed Skylines on Steam Deck,
Yep. I hear it
and
runs
it
well.
it runs okay. It is playable. I had a couple of crashes. I had a couple of memory issues, but I sure did scratch that I'm gonna build a whole dang city itch. Good
It's
That's
game.
also
good.
one of the like 10 games that has native Steam controller support.
It works pretty well. I ended up using a community controller layout that I liked a lot more, just as far as like usability. But
Yeah,
just even the fact that you could do that and just be like, hey, here's something that's got 1,000 upvotes because that's the one everyone has agreed is the good layout. It's
That's good.
good device, good game. They're making a sequel to it, which is great because this first one has become a DLC farm, and I don't own any, and I don't want to own any.
I think
oh,
what
that's
you
just a
are
Paradox game.
Yeah, I think what you're going to find is that City Skyline 2 will also be a DLC farm.
Yeah, but it's a city builder.
Yeah,
They'll do it just like The Sims,
they will.
where they'll put some things in that were DLC in the first game, but you're gonna have to rebuy a lot of the other features.
And I'm
Yeah.
still having fun with it just as a core release. And hopefully I could do the same with 2. Speaking of 2, did you guys know that after the Marvel Spider-Man game, they made a sequel that I guess it's not really a sequel.
Miles
It
Morales.
it really should have just been DLC, yeah.
Black Spider-Man, the game.
Okay, so pretty much all I knew about this game before it released was that one review someone did where they're like, Spider-Man 1 made me feel like Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 makes me feel like Spider-Man with the swagger of a young black teen. And I
Yeah,
was like, oh, ha, ha, that's really funny, I guess. And then I played the game and somebody basically said that exact line for me word for word. I was like, oh, they're feeding into it, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played Miles Morales mainly because I know that it's very short. It's only like 6 hours long. 6 to 8 hours long.
Supposedly, I'm already like 3/4 done, and I just started playing yesterday, which is a little upsetting. But it
Yeah.
was on sale right now.
And even on sale, it's over $20 typically. So I don't want to buy it.
Yeah, I spent like $30 for it. I think it's probably a $15 or $20 DLC that should have been just attached to the Spider-Man game.
Well, that's okay. They're coming out with Spider-Man 2 soonish, and
Yeah,
I'm
we'll get it
sure
in PC in like a year.
I mean, I have a PlayStation 5, so I might just get it. Remember,
Close.
I have problems. Yeah, you have to remember that. Did you play anything else?
I'm trying to think if it was anything worth mentioning. A little bit of Space Station 13, a little bit of Dark Tide, a little bit of Battlefield 2042.
I was
Eh.
going to ask about Space Station 13 if you found a new server or if you're just going on to that same one.
I have gone back on that same one, not so much. There's another one that I've gone on, which is a Warhammer themed Space Station 13 server, but they're very like combat centered, and I kind of like I don't like combat. I like this game because you could do wacky, inventive stuff with it.
Yeah,
to
not
be
so
fair,
much
it is a
as
Warhammer community.
You could do wacky, inventive stuff on spaceships. It could be cool. I know what you're saying though. I get it.
yes. Now we're gonna move on and we're gonna ask Oroa what game or games he's played this week.
Uh, yeah, I played Baldur's Gate. I sure did.
How was that?
Uh,
You do anything
uh
exciting?
I I have no specific things to report on because just about everything I did is extremely story heavy.
Oh, I see.
Um, I am I think as I said in your Discord, right?
Probably.
That
Probably.
I am going through this game with a lice comb.
Yes.
Like
Fine tooth
a,
comb.
fi- a fine tooth comb is not apt enough of a descriptor. I have taken as long as you and the other person I know who has finished the game. I'm taking longer than those entire playthroughs just to get through the first act
Yes,
because
you're at 80 hours.
my save file says like 90 something, but it continues that timer even if you have like the escape menu open. like you can't really pause the game.
Yeah.
So I don't trust that. So it's probably closer to 80 hours, maybe like in the 70 hours area. But like, yeah, for all intents and purposes, I should be done with my first playthrough by now. And I am probably not even halfway through the game because instead of playing through the game like a normal person, I'm going through and doing every single thing that I can possibly do.
That's good.
Uh,
Well,
I mean,
and from what I understand, you also like when you're in combat, you tend
I
to be very methodical with that as well.
I am very slow with most of my decisions, particularly in combat. That said, I mean, I've only had somebody die, I think 3 or 4 times total so far. Uh, that's not counting getting downed, but like that's just part of it, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
I was
like
able to
I
avoid death quite often. Like
yeah, it's
actually go like I think only a couple of my characters died and I would just revive them right away cuz I always had like a revivify scroll on me.
yeah, they definitely make it pretty hard to let somebody stay dead. Because
Unfortunately
even
for
it,
my allies, I am a necromancer.
um
I think I did just get somebody somebody can just straight up cast revivify now.
oh
So
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
There's
don't even need the scrolls anymore.
there's some equipment that you can get that you can put on your characters that will give you revivify as like a daily that you can cast.
And not to mention like you have the zombie man at your camp who can just revive people for $100,
Yeah.
and that might as well be $1. Like that's nothing.
There is I won't actually it's not it doesn't factor into the story at all, but there's a room or speculation that Withers is actually an old god. He is like the old god of death, something like that. Which would
Interesting.
which would make sense. But that's
I
not in the game at all.
I don't know. I just kind of read him as being n- like hardcore lich or something, but whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
I since you played Baldur's Gate 3, I don't think you did anything else noteworthy like World of Warcraft or anything like that.
I played Super Mario World.
Oh, nice. That's a good game.
There are a bunch of ROM hacks that came out as part of a uh like yearly contest thing that so my brother-in-law has been getting into like playing Kaizo hacks,
Oh, right on.
and so I was like, because he very quickly gets very frustrated and needs to take a break and play a different type of hack that's like more chill,
I was
which is
gonna say
very
that might not be
understandable.
the challenge for him if he gets stressed at video games.
Yeah, if it's the brother-in-law or yeah, if it's the brother-in-law I'm thinking of, I
Yeah.
could see him having a pretty short temper when it comes to
So
that.
yeah, like he'll get through 2 or 3 stages and then be like, all right, gotta switch to something more chill. And then so I found a few that were a little more on the goofy side that were pretty entertaining to watch him play. And then that got me in the mood to check out some other ones. And there's some really cool shit.
That's
There's one
cool.
that's just it's an episode of Law and Order, but it's a Mario hack.
And it starts with a dun dun
Yeah.
noise.
Oh, it does that constantly
Oh,
because you're the detective and you're like you gotta like interview people and shit. It's basically a visual novel, but with some platforming levels, and you're
that's fun.
Mario.
That's fun and dumb.
It
We're gonna
sounds
move.
delightful.
We're gonna move on to me, the games that I played. So obviously, Baldur's Gate 3, played some of that, and I beat the game. I did it.
Hooray.
Uh, I'm not. Y'all played games, so there's a final battle, right?
Mm.
And
No,
you
the
get
game just always goes on.
It just ends. You just get to a point and it's just like, and one scene of dialogue and end the game. No,
You
there's
turn into a mind flayer, and then the game just goes game over, and that's it.
Yep, that's it. Just halfway through what you would think would be the game. No, it ends up that you have a final battle, and all of your allies that you've like collected throughout the game, that people that you've saved and haven't died or you haven't let die, are there to help you out. And
So like you're casting a spirit bomb, and
yes,
like
exactly.
everyone else is like giving you their energy.
So I'm going and I'm talking to all the people who have come to help me, and there is a baby owlbear fully decked out in owlbear armor. And I was like, oh, that's so adorable. It's too bad the mom wanted to murder you. Did you, since you're still in for the first act, did you find the owlbear?
I know where their cave is. I just have avoided it because I've been more interested in doing other things.
First off, there's some good loot there. You don't even have to talk to the owlbear to get the loot. There's a path to the loot. But you can go there and grab the loot without even encountering the owlbear. And then there is a way to avoid fighting the owlbear. You can talk your way out of it and then walk out. I won't spoil anything else for you. So, yeah. You haven't even gone to the goblin camp then, have you?
Oh, I have.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the Underdark right now.
Oh, okay. You should probably go back and grab the baby owlbear.
I will.
Yeah.
I have to go back topside every once in a while to sell all my shit that I keep picking up.
Yeah.
Because I sell everything to the guy at the druid camp because I have 100 reputation with him.
That makes sense. That's good. So he gives you favorable deals?
Yeah.
I remember one time I accidentally selected a different character to do like selling of equipment and stuff. And I was like, what the heck? Like to go talk to the guy. And I was like, why is everything selling for way less? And I was like, oh yeah, my main character's a bard with 20 charisma. Of course he gets better deals. And then, because I beat Baldur's Gate 3, I played some WrestleQuest, which it's fun. You don't play Macho Man, you play Muchacho Man.
I
like that.
And you're all toys. That's what the game is kind of built around, and you like worship Macho Man and want to be like him. So in the game, there's also a rhythm game portion of it where you go into one of the first towns, and there's a dancing bar, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go. There's a dancing contest. I guess I'll go get that because somebody wants an item. So one of your quests is to get them that item from the dancing quest. And you're like, oh, it's just a normal dancing club? Okay, I'll go do that. And he's like, well, and you go in and it's like a Magic Mike dancing scene. And there are like 6 songs. And once you get all 6 songs done, you end up getting like a grand prize. It's pretty great. Pretty good. I'm enjoying WrestleQuest. And apparently it's like 30 hours long, which is longer than I thought a game like that would be. I'm pretty excited to play through that. And then after that, I'll play through some Starfield, which I guess runs not the greatest. Have either of you looked? I haven't looked up to see how it runs on the Steam Deck or if it runs on the Steam Deck.
I have already, not that I've seen it firsthand, but I have been told that those playing this game on Steam Deck should get their expectations in check.
I figured it'd be like low settings.
Considering it runs at 30 FPS on the newest gen of consoles.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You could probably stream it from your PC on your Steam Deck, but latency might not be the best.
Even then, like, I think it was released early this last week, and NVIDIA hasn't done specific drivers for Starfield yet.
Yeah, there are.
Are there? I thought there were
Yep.
not specific Starfield drivers yet. Okay.
I just updated my drivers. Like they may have like just came out, but I updated my drivers a couple days ago, and
Oh,
the
okay.
game ready drivers were like performance enhancements for Starfield.
Oh, good. And it will not run on Intel GPUs. So if
Of
you have
course
an
not,
Intel Arc, it's not going to run until the day that the public launch date, which is it's in like 3
because
days.
even Intel couldn't get a pre-release key.
Well, yeah, it was because it's a AMD sponsored game. And so
Oh,
the only people who really had access to all of that was AMD. So Intel did not have the ability to work with the game before it got released, and Gamers Nexus speculated that they weren't able to get a pre-release key, so they weren't able to to get the game and test it on Intel GPUs until now.
Now,
should have
looking at
just
like
done
a
what I
Fallout
did.
or a Skyrim or something, does that actually have a noticeable performance difference between AMD and Intel?
Oh yeah. Do you mean AMD and Nvidia or AMD and Intel?
AMD and Intel. I think I said that right. AMD
Uh,
chips and Intel chips.
we're talking about GPUs.
On the CPU side, I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so on the CPU side. Definitely the GPU side.
I
Sure.
doubt that most Bethesda games are even CPU bound for a vast majority of people.
Probably
Just a
not.
thought I had.
Yeah, I imagine that maybe back in the day when like Fallout 4 originally released, and that was before Ryzen came out, right? Or right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would think that probably around then, maybe. But now they're pretty even. Anywho's, we're
I
gonna
think it
move
was
on.
implying that if AMD sponsored the game, then they would have like intentionally made it work better on AMD hardware.
That is sort
Oh,
of where I was leaning with, but I didn't really have anything to base that assumption off of other than, hey, what if we did this corporate interest thing?
I don't think so. I
Uh,
think the main thing is day one drivers, and if it's an AMD sponsored game, they've actually looked at all of the games that are sponsored by AMD, and none of the games that are sponsored by AMD have DLSS. It's all FSR. So,
FSR is independent of anything anyway.
yeah, FSR can be
So
ran on any, well, not any, but any newer GPU. But like if it's sponsored by Nvidia, a lot of games still have FSR available, but not the other
Yeah.
way around.
Well, because you don't the FSR doesn't actually like require any effort at all
Yeah,
on anybody's part really, besides more or less just adding a thing into your game to
and
make it able to turn on.
but they have
But DLSS requires machine learning shit on Nvidia's side.
they have looked at it, and DLSS is better.
Well, of course it is, because it has to be you have to train the AI per game, whereas FSR is basically just anti-aliasing but working off the actual pixels on the screen.
Right. From what I understand, DLSS is better for both quality and performance. But again, FSR
It requires
is hardware
yeah, it's,
agnostic. So
yeah, and DLSS again, like you probably have to like pay Nvidia to make it work in your game, whereas FSR will just work on
Probably.
anything at all.
But we are going to move on. We're going to talk about some news stories. The story I definitely didn't mess up on the link originally. The first story we're going to talk about is one that made me laugh. Just the title made me laugh, and this is from Tom's Hardware. It says, "Thief chews through anti-theft cable after iPhone 14 Plus sticker shock," which just makes me happy.
There's a dentist somewhere in China rubbing their hands together right now.
What the
That's what I
fuck?
was thinking. I was like, how, like, you're gonna have to pay for like your teeth to get fixed. Is that really worth it? But
Those security cables, like those spider wires,
yeah,
no way those aren't shredding your teeth if you're trying to bite
Oh
through that.
yeah,
yeah.
those things are made out of like steel.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, it says a woman from southeastern China has been arrested for stealing an Apple iPhone 14 Plus. This might have been one of many iDevice thefts on any given day, but the thief's modus operandi has made this case go viral on Chinese social media. Surprisingly, the iPhone thief managed to purloin the device and make her getaway after chewing through the demo's device's anti-theft cable with her teeth. Ah.
God damn,
What?
that's metal as fuck.
Yeah, that's fucking hardcore, but also like what? Like the demo devices are usually like specifically marked by Apple as a demo device, so like you're not going to be able to activate it anywhere. No one's going to buy that off you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could jailbreak it, right? But,
No, not a 14 plus.
oh, you can't jailbreak those ones anymore? Not yet, at least.
No, no.
Interestingly, the newspaper report also shared the thief's side of the sorry story. She apparently explained to police that she went to the store intending to purchase the device after losing her phone. However, the iPhone 14 Plus sticker price of 7,000 won or $960 apparently left her exasperated, so she decided to steal the store's demo sample.
If I
love
was
it.
Samsung, I would pay her. Do you have bail in China?
I
Footnote
don't
on
know.
that. If I was Samsung, I would be like, "Nah, we got this. Here's a new phone, and it doesn't cost almost 1,000 Chinese currency."
That's just
Well,
chewing
I guess it
through.
would depend on the phone. Because if it's a
Also,
flip, it costs even more than that.
Yeah.
also,
I'm just saying, I see an opportunity when I see it.
Oh, you're right.
I would like the first time I saw the story, I was like, yeah, she chewed through it. I get that she was like, oh no, and she got like desperate. But why didn't she get a knife?
Yeah, like, well, you're
Or
not even gonna like bring a pair of scissors or something. Like,
yeah, there's got to be something there that. But whatever. I couldn't do it because I would worry about my
also,
teeth getting messed up.
well, I mean, I just like, what do you need a 14 plus for? Eh?
I mean,
It's not even a pro. Like,
to to be
you'd be
fair,
fine.
maybe it was the only one she had access to steal. I have no
Well, she
idea.
wanted to buy a 14 plus. Like, all it is just it's a 14, but the screen is like half an inch larger.
Interesting. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to I didn't even know they were on 14. To be fair.
Yep. That's what I got. I got a 14 Pro.
Oh, okay. And how much did that cost you?
Uh, 800.
Ugh.
That's still a lot of money. Yeah. I ended up getting my Pixel 7 Pro. I traded in my 6 and got like a huge amount of credit for it. So I ended up paying like $250 for my 7 Pro.
I wasn't. I was going to wait until they released a USB-C iPhone, but then the charge port on my XR started failing. So I was like, well, fuck. I
Should have
don't
just
have
got
much choice.
the wireless charger. Just get a
But
wireless charging pad.
yeah, those take like 6 years to charge, and they're really annoying because you can't use the phone while it's charging.
Yeah, I have a friend who was like, "Oh, I want to get a phone with wireless charging." And I was like, "Okay, think about it. You set it down and then you can't touch it. Like when you have a cable attached, yeah, you're kind of tethered there, but you can like pick it up and use it while it's charging. Can't do that. The only thing I think that wireless charging is really good for is like in a car where you can just set it down and then it'll start charging where it's set.
I think it's cool for that. I think it's cool for like public charging stations because everything uses Qi charging. So it's basically like a platform agnostic charging pad, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, and you can set it down and then
It,
somebody can easily come and just grab it.
Well, sure.
Well, not
But
if you
like, and
also pick up the wireless charging pad and then use your phone while holding that.
Oh yeah.
Gotta beat the system.
and if you have an iPhone, I don't remember when they added it, but you have one with MagSafe, like then the charging pad just magnetizes itself to the back of your phone. Eh, you get the best of both worlds. You
Wasn't
get
MagSafe
a,
the other charging where it had like the quick disconnect?
Yeah.
yes, they
If you
just
Okay.
trip
added
on,
that.
sorry, go on.
They added that to iPhones a couple generations back,
I I I,
where
I remember
it's a
talking
circle on
about
the
that.
back.
I remember
Yeah,
talking about that.
I
that's how
don't
I
remember.
have. I have a little. I have one of those pop sockets. I have that MagSafe attached to the back of my phone.
Interesting. I have not that. I just have a case on my phone and I plug it in like a normal person. Also, yeah, are they releasing a USB-C iPhone?
Hmm.
I think
Absolutely.
at least in Europe, like Europe said, "Hey, you got to do this,"
Yep.
and I think that was the final straw for them. They're like, "Okay,
That.
Yes,
Yep.
I've
Exactly.
heard that, and there were some rumors that, though they were just rumors, I'm pretty sure, that Apple was considering just not having a charge port.
There were people saying that that is like the worst case scenario. There's no way in hell that's going to happen because you
Yeah,
can't transfer data via MagSafe.
yeah, I figured
So
that wouldn't. You
yeah,
could do, you just have to do what's AirPlay, right?
there's stuff that just wouldn't work doing it that way that would make it way more of a pain in the ass than just putting a USB-C port on the bottom.
Yeah,
Because
hopefully they
you
have that.
couldn't put the thing in DFU mode. Like you would essentially have to have a hidden port like inside the casing. Like you'd have to add pogo pins to the motherboard or something and make it so that technicians would have to open the phone up just to reflash the firmware on it.
I
It'd be stupid.
I also believe that isn't the lightning cable only like USB 2.0?
I don't know. I genuinely don't. It's like lightning cables are literally just USB cables, but the pins are in a weird arrangement.
Yeah,
I I know that there are like also rumors that like the USB-C cable that comes with the iPhone will be stuck at USB 2.0 or something like that, and like you have to buy a premium cable or some shit to get full speed.
I hope that doesn't happen. That would be dumb
That
even
would
for
be really
Apple.
stupid.
that
Yeah,
would be very Apple."
It would be.
it would be. But like also honestly, I don't think that many people transfer shit to their phone via USB anyway, so like who cares?
Probably not. I imagine most iPhone users just use iCloud.
I do.
Yeah.
Partially because I don't have much choice because I can't just plug my phone into my computer and drag photos off of it and shit.
Not
Like,
anymore.
well, I can, but it's a pain in the ass still because
Yeah.
there's no organization to any of it. And I can't just use my phone as a flash drive like I could with Android.
Well, you want to use your phone as a computer? No, you can't have that.
Nope, can't have that. You gotta buy an iPad. You gotta buy
Yeah.
an iPad to use it as your computer or something like that.
Yeah,
But
gotta have an iPad with you have to have an iPad with an M1 or an M2 processor that is fully capable of running desktop software. Like straight up they have a fucking x86 translator application. Like you can just run anything that Mac OS could run on an iPad. But no, we're gonna do it the other way around, where you're gonna have all this power, but if you want shit to run on the iPad, it's the developer has to redo the whole fucking thing to make it run natively on iPad. It fucking
with
the
with
newest
that
iPads are so annoying.
with that, we are gonna move on to our next story, and we are gonna talk about the FCC and their little spat with ISPs. We spoke about this previously, where ISP or the FCC had stated that ISPs, internet service providers, have to say, "Hey, these are what you're getting billed for. Like this is why your bill is, it's advertised at $100 a month, but you're paying 150 because of these extra fees." And the FCC came out and said, "You have to show what those extra fees are." ISPs came back and said, "No, that would be hard."
You could do that?
but we don't want to do that. And the FCC has replied and said no.
Like,
I didn't realize that was an option this whole time.
Yeah.
you could just tell the government, no, I don't wanna.
No. The FCC, so the ISPs had said, "Hey, we don't want to list those fees." And so we're trying to look for an exemption from this or to get out of this in some way. And the FCC said no. So
That's what you. Okay.
Yeah. So the FCC is saying, no, your reasoning is dumb. So you
Yeah.
have to show your fees.
I sure
Of
wish
course.
that the government would like do this in, literally any other circumstance, like at all.
It says here, this is all from Ars Technica. It says Comcast and other ISPs objected to a requirement that ISPs list all recurring monthly fees, including all charges that providers impose at their own discretion, i.e., charges not mandated by the government. They complain that the rule will force them to display the pass-through of fees imposed by federal, state, or local government agencies on the consumer broadband label. Good. Good.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you know how you do that? You have a little fucking drop down that goes government fees, and you click the little arrow, and then it plops down, and then it's like this thing 79 cents, this thing 8 cents. Like, it's real fucking easy.
Well, the
It's
thing
on your
is,
fucking cell phone bill. Like,
the thing is, I don't think that the ISPs care about that stuff. They're just using
no, they
that
don't.
as
In reality, they don't want to have to do extra fees that we feel like charging you this time.
exactly.
Fuck you fee, $1. We just like money fee, $2.80. Jerry needs a new bathtub fee, $4.89.
Yeah, I think the way they're trying to word it is, they said they used the saying pass through. So that is like the government says this is a fee that you have to charge, or that we have to charge the ISP, and the ISP is passing that through and making the consumer pay it instead of the ISP paying it.
Which, I would say is a fair thing to do on the ISP's part.
I think it's
like
fair.
I think that's fine that you would pass through that fee, but also like, yeah, you need to be transparent about what the fuck that the consumer is paying for.
But I think the way that they were trying to word it to the government was, hey, this would actually be bad for you because it would show all the fees that you guys are doing, and then they might vote against you.
And it'll make the ISP, it could also make the ISP look like they're doing exactly what they're doing, and people are going to go, why do I have to pay all this? Like, this doesn't sound like anything that I use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to add burden onto the ISPs, but that's their own fault for hiding this shit for this long.
But then, the real reason they want to do this is something we have touched on, is that, or they don't want to do this, is because they just randomly will charge you for things like the Aroa needs a yacht fee, and so you pay another $3 a month for that, and just a bunch of other things. And so they were trying to get out of it. It says specifically providers must itemize the fees they add to base monthly prices, including fees related to government programs they choose to pass through to consumers, such as fees related to universal service or regulatory fees. The FCC was ordered by Congress to implement broadband label rules, and the FCC is requiring ISPs to display the labels to consumers at the point of sale and include information such as the monthly price, additional fees, introductory rates, data caps, charges for data overages. I think data caps is something that they should definitely talk about, because some people aren't going to understand what, like, hey, I'm paying for this, but what does this mean, this data cap? Charges for data overages, that's another one, because if somebody uses too much data, then gets charged. Mine used to be, I think it was $10 for every 50 gigs over my data cap, up to 3 charges of $10, and then it became unlimited. So you're just essentially paying $30 for unlimited. It says charges for data overages and performance metrics. The FCC rules aren't enforced yet because they are subject to Federal Office of Management and Budget review over the U.S. Paperwork Reduction Act. Interesting. I wish where I worked had a Paperwork Reduction Act. If I could discontinue more printers in the workplace, oh, I'd be so happy. I
gotta say, after working for a law firm, I sort of gave up any hope of just any sort of sustainable world. Just, it's so much paper goes through that place.
Yeah.
It's hopeless. It's hopeless. We can't make a difference.
It is funny hearing that there's a Paperwork Reduction Act, and meanwhile, like, there's still a vast majority of all of our records are legally required to be photocopied and transmitted via fax machine, so you have to have paper copies of everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I work, I think I mentioned it to you before, where we have every front desk person has their own scanner. Every single person. And it makes the way that they do it, it makes sense. But I still hate it. It's because we have, so the way that we do scanning is there's a remote system that they log into for all the dental records and stuff. And doing a network scanner with that would just be complicated. So everyone just has their own scanner, and it sucks because they're all different, like, versions of scanners too. It's not just one model that's standardized throughout the company. So I'll be like, "What scanner do you have?" And they're like, "Oh, I have this 10-year-old scanner at my desk." I'm like, "Great, perfect, wonderful."
Hope you brought your serial to USB adapter.
Yeah. But going back to this, the last thing I wanted to read.
Does this computer have a scanner port?
What's a scanner port?
But right next to the PS2 ports.
Oh yeah, the PlayStation 2 ports.
That's right.
The FCC has said that ISPs can simplify pricing. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, like, maybe ISPs should just not fucking make things overly complicated for the sake of confusing people, you know?
Yeah.
How fucking hard would that be?
They released...
Full credit to AT&T, by the way. My bill is just $80 a month, and it's always $80 a month. The only time it's changed is whenever I went through Rocket Money and had them negotiate with AT&T for lowering my bill, and they gave me a $10 credit 1 month.
Oh,
was
good.
it.
Cool.
Good. It does. The FCC has a statement, and it says, "Further, we are not persuaded that it will be burdensome for the ISPs to itemize on the label those fees they opt to pass along to consumers above the monthly price, particularly since providers acknowledge being able to describe such fees to a consumer over the phone and on the consumer's bill once the consumer subscribes to service. We also find that any such burdens are far outweighed by the benefits to consumers when they are shopping for service. ISPs could alternatively roll such discretionary fees to the base monthly price, thereby eliminating the need to itemize them on the label." So what they're saying is, hey, you have these fees. Let's say they add up to $20. So, I'm paying $100 a month for internet, and then there's the $20 in fees. The FCC is saying, well, you can itemize them, or you can just say that your service is $120 a month. And that would, It would suck for the consumer, or it would suck for the ISP, but it'd be better for the consumer because at least they'd know what they were paying, what they were signing up for. Very happy. And also, the FCC just kind of destroyed them and said, but I can call and you'll describe what that bill was, right? You have access to that. So why can't you put that on the bill? Or why can't you put that on the introductory sheet?
I hadn't thought about this until a few seconds ago. Do you think immigration like to EU countries has increased recently?
I have no idea.
Mm,
Because the reason I bring that up is that it does seem like, particularly the FCC, but like are some aspects of the U.S. government that seems to be like kind of seeing what the EU has been doing for the last several years, and our government entities are kind of following that.
I think that's partially that. It might also be because we had 4 years of basically the FCC doing nothing.
And it could
And
be. It's just it is
and
weird to have all of this time where, like, I don't know, it's generally felt like most of the government just doesn't give a shit about anything involving consumer advocacy. And it's interesting that, yeah, I don't know, it feels like there's been sort of a change in that, and that comes on the heels of the EU just kind of out of nowhere deciding that, like, loot boxes are illegal, and like phones have to have USB-C, and right to repair is like becoming a much bigger thing in some states and in the EU in general. And like I just wonder if it's a matter of like the US government's trying to compete with the European Union in terms of like making people not want to leave, I guess. I
maybe,
don't
I
know.
don't know.
I just have the thought. It probably doesn't make any actual sense, but
I think we are more, it's getting to a little bit more pro consumer. Um, but that might be because, yeah, maybe because of the EU and maybe because of the United States people who are in charge right now are a little bit more pro consumer. Not that they're, you know, great or
yeah, kind of
anything,
like
but
how Republicans used to be.
no, I don't recall that in my lifetime.
Because it wasn't in your lifetime.
Oh, okay. We are
Like,
gonna
back whenever Republicans were like pro-union and shit.
that like the 1940s,
Yes,
1950s.
yes,
long
literally
time ago.
yes.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Hey
Uh,
Nathan, before we move on, do me a favor and just ask me to just ask me what my opinion was on this.
what was your opinion on this?
I don't wanna.
Okay, we are gonna move on, and we are going to talk about Starfield a little bit. Again, a game I'm going to be playing probably beginning this week, at least a little bit. And it saved somebody's life. It turns out that it it's ended up saving people's lives by him staying up and playing Starfield so late that he was able to spot that his neighbor's oxygen tank blew up, his downstairs neighbor, and so he
Oh,
was able to get his family out of the house or apartment rather.
huh.
It says a Starfield player credited the sci-fi game. This is from Eurogamer. Uh, the sci-fi game was saving their life after they stayed up late to play it, and was awake when their apartment complex caught fire. It's a what Tidy C Killa on Reddit took to the subreddit over the weekend to report the amazing escape. Said he had binging the game when the fire broke out. The player and their wife would likely have died of smoke inhalation. Starfield literally saved mine and my family's life on the 1st of September. The player explained, appending a photograph of an apartment fire to the post. Said, I have waited for this game since the trademark rumors of 2015 and 16. In anticipation, I pre-ordered the premium edition, waiting to play the game. The night of the 31st August, I decided to stay up and play as long as possible to experience the new universe. At 2:26 a.m., wow, that's very specific. While playing the game, I heard an explosion from my downstairs neighbor's apartment. I paused the game to see what was happening. When I opened the door, I saw flames rising up the stairwell to my apartment. He said that because they were already awake, they were able to rouse their wife and grab the family cat, escaping the fire with only minor burns. It turns out the OP returned to the thread later to confirm that it seemed the incident was caused by a neighbor smoking near oxygen tanks.
Ooh, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that. My friend's dad.
And then they were really smoking after that.
Yeah, my friends. I wonder. That's one thing I see. I've read the story, but I also don't know what happened to the neighbor. If the neighbor,
Oh, they're
died.
dead.
Yeah, they're probably.
If you're smoking in close proximity to an oxygen tank as it's exploding, probably not too good for you.
Yeah, probably not.
Like it's not even the shrapnel; it's the shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
But also shrapnel.
My friend's dad was suffering from like emphysema, and like this was towards the end of his life, and he had an oxygen tank, and he was still smoking while having an oxygen tank very close by. And my friend's like, "Hey, Dad, don't blow up my house,
Pretty please."
please." And it was just he was on the way out. He had done so many drugs that and lived kind of a poor life, didn't manage his diabetes, all that jazz. And he's still smoking while while he has oxygen that he's on. And he's like, "Listen, like, I know I'm on the way out, so this doesn't matter." And
I'm going out on my terms, which is to say a 40-foot fireball.
yeah, apparently. But no, that ended up not happening. He ended up passing away. I don't know the exact way he died, but
40-foot fireball.
I wish. That'd be
Until
cool.
proven otherwise.
I'd love the line "Praise God, Howard."
Yeah, praise God did Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says if I hadn't been binging Starfield, I would have been asleep and we would have all died from smoke inhalation. I want to thank this game for saving my life and me from the horrible fate. Praise God, Howard. And
Where this doesn't say what country this is in.
I don't know either.
Because like there should have been several fire alarms going off by the time that it got to where there was fire in the stairwell.
Well, he said he heard the pop, paused the game, and there was already fire in the stairwell. So that would make sense.
He said he saw flames rising up our stairwell to our apartment. And but like as soon as the explosion went off, the entire building should have had like blinking lights and a klaxon going.
Someone
Yeah.
should have noticed. I agree with her.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, they did have alarms for that, but it looks like somebody actually chewed them off the walls. It's the weirdest thing.
She needed fire alarms. Her fire alarm went out, so she chewed it off the wall.
She was gonna buy one for her apartment, but then she saw the price and was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, $12. That's awful. We're gonna move on to our next story, which is one that one of you brought up. Let me see. Oh, it was Connor.
Oh, is it? Oh.
It's the Microsoft one. Microsoft.
Oh.
Microsoft has ended their. They've canceled their free trial of Game Pass for now. Again. They did it a while back where they changed it. They like canceled it and then brought it back, but it was slightly different. And now they have a different one, and now they've canceled it again. Can you go into a little bit more detail?
I guess, yeah. So, if you're one of those people out there who was really hoping to play Starfield, but wasn't really hoping to pay $70 stinking Redinos for it, then if you were looking to get it off of whatever the hell it's called, Game Pass,
Yeah, Game Pass.
you're out of luck. Because now you either have to get all of Game Pass or not have it because there's no more trial anymore.
Yeah. So it's not existent at all.
The trial, no. The Game
Okay.
Pass is still around, but like
It was a $1 trial, by the way.
Oh, okay. It was
Not
$1.
free.
Yeah, it
$1.
wasn't free. I'm sorry. It was $1 for 14 days, and they have removed that option because of
Just in
Starfield.
time for Starfield.
Shockingly enough, just in time for Starfield. Not much to say about that. I assume that Connor was not going to pick up Starfield via Game Pass.
Nah, then I'm certainly not picking it up for $70.
Yeah.
You can pick it up for the low price of $0.00 under the name Starfield-Rune.
What?
That is RUNE in all caps. In various places. I'm just putting it out there.
I
And
don't
I
know
don't
what
know
you're.
what's up with this.
I don't know what you're
I'm just
talking about.
saying I found it when I Googled Starfield once. I was like, whoa, it's just a free version of Starfield. That's pretty crazy.
That's weird. That's weird.
What's this dot torrent? What's that mean?
I have no
Why are my
idea.
fans speeding up in the middle of the night now?
Why does my CPUs always go up to 100 when it should be idle? That's weird.
Weird.
So we're gonna move on to the last story, and that one is. Let me see.
Google.
I brought this up.
Google being dumb.
Yeah, we probably should have transitioned to this whenever we were talking about phones earlier, but
I'm a
we
little
don't
surprised
actually.
you didn't.
Who?
Yeah, we don't actually like plan this at all.
So every once in a while, I'll put them in order, but not this week. Did not do it this week.
No, you had to like rush to find 3 more stories to add in here earlier today.
Yeah, I did. This was a slow week, is what I'm saying. But the Pixel Pass, I read about this too.
So a couple years ago, the Google saw what Apple had already been doing with the Apple iPhone upgrade program, which is basically just you pay a monthly fee and you get a new iPhone every couple years. It's essentially the same thing that people had already been doing and most of the time still do with their phone carriers, where you just pay a little extra on your phone bill every month, and that also finances your phone.
Yeah,
because phones are way too goddamn expensive.
they are.
But the Pixel Pass was a way of doing that directly through Google. It ended up being, from my memory, it was a pretty good deal because I think you also got Google One along with it, and that's like $10 a month on its own or something like that. I don't
So
remember.
it says October 2021, Google launched, this is from The Verge, Google launched a Pixel Pass subscription program alongside the Pixel 6 series of phones that promised 3 things for one monthly payment. It was $45 for a Pixel 6 or $55 for a 6 Pro. It says you get Google's best services, device protection, and regular device upgrade. However, on Tuesday, Google emailed Pixel Pass customers saying that we are writing to you to inform you that starting today we are no longer offering Pixel Pass subscriptions for renewals. And I'm trying to find out which services they had.
I believe it was Google One. Was the main thing is you got the like the low or like the not the lowest tier. You got like the 2 terabyte plan for Google One.
I thought
For
you
free.
got like Google Play Music or like YouTube included on that as well.
That could be. That could
Like,
very well be.
yeah.
I don't remember what all of it was, but yeah, like it was a good deal. Yeah, it was the $10 a month version. You get like extra Google Photos features, you get online support, 2 terabytes of Google Cloud storage, you get have I been pwned access. Like it's the classic like monitor the dark web thing that like every password manager has now. Just it's a good deal. But the reason that this is a story is that Google had this as a thing for a whopping 22 of the 24 months.
Yeah.
And then decided, oh wait, this is actually like not good for us, and then just killed the whole fucking program.
Yeah, so
And
people aren't going to be able to upgrade their phones?
no,
Not at
no,
all.
they can't.
Oh,
No.
good. That's awesome. So the idea
Uh,
was you subscribe for 2 years, and let's say you have a Pixel 6, and then you just in 24 months you would then be able to get probably a Pixel 8 included in that plan. You would just skip
oh
the
wait,
7.
so wait. Okay. So wait, what you do is you do get the one upgrade,
Oh, you get the one upgrade. Okay.
but but you still have to finance the phone.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
So and you can't renew Pixel Pass.
You get a free
So
phone. All you have to do is pay for it.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just
Awesome. It does say that they're not losing the special paid for privileges. The fee covered the cost of the phone and discounted rate for the bundled services over its 2-year time frame. So I guess I think from what I read on here was that they're still going to be able to get the cheaper rate for those services. They just won't get they're ending the phone upgrades and all of that jazz. From what
It-
I understand.
it's just like this is yet another case of Google having something that people were paying for and who were probably like relying on this in terms of like they were budgeting their life around this, and now they have fucked those people over because they decided, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want to do it anymore.
That is definitely a Google thing to do. They did that with Stadia.
They've done it with everything.
I'm
Like
honestly
so
like
many fucking things.
I have Google Fi as my wireless provider, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they haven't killed that off yet.
I am too, honestly. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't decide to go with Google Fi at any point, because like I would just every day be thinking, is today going to be the day that Google decides they don't want my money anymore? Okay,
I'm just
because
hoping it
like
lasts through October.
it's a what?
That's when I'm going to
Oh,
Japan.
because yeah, you're going to Japan.
Yeah.
Uh,
That would be hilarious. I get there and they're like, "Hey, welcome to Japan. By the way, your service discontinues in 3 days." What?
like I loved Google Play Music. It was great. Uh, I wished that it had like a better. Well, I wish it had like an existent desktop application, but it was a great service. And then they killed that off and just rolled the features into YouTube and like half-assed the whole thing. Like they killed off fucking whatever the hell Google Buzz was. I don't remember that. You had Google
Was that the
fucking
RSS thing?
no, that
Buzz?
was Google Reader. Buzz was like a weird. It was like a proto Twitter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was very old.
They killed off
But
Google Plus or whatever it
yeah, that was
was.
what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Google Plus.
There.
And like that still like has its fingers in YouTube. Like my YouTube account ID still has my Google Plus name in it because of all the fucking stupid shit that they did with Google Plus and forcing you to integrate it with your YouTube account. And now like that's there. Who knows how much trouble that's going to cause years down the line.
But Aroa, at
Uh
least we'll know who's in your circles.
Yeah.
fucking
Making all the dated references.
you remember shit like Android Auto for phone screens?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
had.
you
I
could just
used
have
it.
Android Auto on your phone. That
That
was
was
really
awesome.
fucking great.
Handy as
Like
hell.
they just fucking killed that shit. Fucking all the Fitbit shit that they killed off after they bought Fitbit. Like just the fact that there's a website with 288 different projects that Google has killed off. Oh yeah, Google domains. Fucking
Oh yeah, they just killed that, didn't they?
It dies in like 1 month.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure I used that in junior high school for a D&D game that we were playing. So I better make my backup of that if that's still available.
I'm very excited. That Google domain they sold to who did they sell?
Squarespace.
Squarespace.
Yeah.
And that's weird because
Oh.
that could not have been losing them money selling
No,
domains.
I don't get it.
That
And like they killed that off right after they announced like a ton of new TLDs.
yeah,
Like
the
they were
like
actively developing that platform,
wasn't there a
and
.google one that like just came out or
there
something
was
like that?
the big one that I remember was .zip,
That's the
uh
one.
where everyone was like, "This is a terrible idea."
Yes, it was.
What, YouTube Stories is dead?
Apparently.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like a list of all the dead Google stuff, right?
Yeah, that's it's killedbygoogle.com.
Killed by
Uh,
Google.
yeah.
That's my favorite
I didn't
Motorhead
know
song.
that the Google Street View app, like the standalone one, that doesn't exist anymore.
Coming soon, Cyberpunk Monk. That's weird. Killed by
Oh
Google.
no,
Where am I going? I don't want to go nowhere.
you're on the wrong Killed by Google.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit, yeah, and like Google Duo and
Oh, that was the phone.
Yeah.
That was the phone app. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
the
just the
the
phone in general. Like they're discontinuing it, which sucks because I love my Duo.
what?
No. You're confused. That's a Microsoft Duo.
I know,
Microsoft
I know.
Surface Duo.
Oh, I was confused.
They also killed
Uh,
that, but that's for a different reason.
Wait,
Um,
Angular Google made Angular JS? I didn't know that.
I guess. Oh yeah,
God,
G
there's
Suite.
so much.
Yeah, just everything that like again, there's how many items on this page that was killed by Google, and yeah,
Were
like
actually useful products, some of which they were actively working on right up until the time that they killed it off
well, like
for some reason.
we brought up Google Plus, and Google Plus they found out there was a bug in it where there was like people could exploit it pretty easily and like get all your information, and
Yeah, it
so
was a privacy thing.
it was they like Google was like actively working on it and kind of keeping it there. And then they're like, "Oh, there's a vulnerability. We might have to pay like $25 to get it fixed." And Google's like, "Nah, we're good. Let's kill it." Oh, okay.
There was Google Code, which like there's still shit that's stuck on there, and
Oh yeah.
Google was just like, just put it all on GitHub. We don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Picasa. That's a big one.
Yeah, Picasa was like genuinely like really good,
And then
and
Google bought it, right?
they
Or
tried.
did Google
That
buy it?
was a free app.
Right, but I thought wasn't Picasa something else? Like somebody else had it and then Google bought it, or
I could see that being the case. I don't really know. I just remember using it to edit photos for my grandma, like way back, and being like impressed that there were that many great features. And like, I get it that like, oh, you can just do this all on the web now, but like having an actual native app was pretty fucking nice. And
That's the one. That's what I was thinking of. I was like, I remember uploading a video to YouTube relatively recently, like within the last couple of years. And I was like, "Oh no, I need to make an edit on this." Oh, YouTube just has a video editor, so I could just pop it in there. Like I could click on it and edit it. They had YouTube video editor and it died 6 years ago.
yeah,
Like
oh,
I
well, that's
remember editing, like uploading something, be like, oh, I need to remove this or do something to it. And
that
I
is
was able
still
to
a
do that, but you're not able to do it anymore.
you can if you are a partner.
Ah, I see.
They made it a partner only thing.
That makes sense. Well, for the free version, it is no longer existent.
Nope.
Maybe if you made a little better content
Or any.
or any.
I post this on YouTube.
Maybe if you made a little better content.
You know that there's a podcasts integration on YouTube
Yeah.
somehow?
Yeah. Well, okay. So, but you can't.
Is that
pull
another
inter-
partner thing?
No, I can label my stuff as podcasts. It comes up as a podcast, but there's no way to like import an
But-
RSS feed.
But why doesn't that just go to Google Podcasts?
I don't
If
know.
it's a podcast.
I don't
Probably because
know.
more people use YouTube.
But
I bet
Like,
they had a
the-
meeting in an office building one day where they're like, all right, if we sever this connection, is the app going to die? And somebody was probably like, uh-huh.
I have a coworker who how I listen to podcasts is if I'm driving, and that's like the only time I listen to podcasts is if I'm driving somewhere. I will play the podcast and listen to it because it's something to have other than the same music that I always listen to. But my coworker told me he's the complete opposite. Like he has to have it on YouTube where he can like see the people while they're doing the podcast. And he can't
That's
watch a
so
podcast any
weird.
other way.
Ugh. Weird.
And I will, I will do clips of podcasts, like how they'll edit out segments and then post that on YouTube. I'll listen to
yeah,
some
like the
of those.
fake ones on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. But I will not like just sit down and have like a 2-hour long podcast on YouTube. Those I have to listen to while I'm driving because it just makes the drive easier. Which I got to drive 6 hours next Sunday, so I'll probably be listening to a lot of podcasts then. Anyway, Google killing off Pixel Pass and offering no way of upgrading a subscriber's phone. Unfortunate. Well, I guess you can, but you
can
just have to pay for
by
it.
just buying the fucking phone.
Yeah, exactly. We will definitely support Pixel Pass for more than 2 years. And then 22 months later, they're like, that was 2 years, right? Yeah,
Close enough.
Close enough.
2 corporate years.
I would like to thank you, Aroa, for being here.
Make sure that you follow me on Google Buzz.
Yeah,
for
follow me
updates.
on Blue Sky at Reeton. And thank you for being here, Cyberpunk Monk.
You could join my Google Plus circle today. Get all
Yeah.
of my relevant social media updates
Follow
on
me
Google Plus.
Follow me on Space Hay. Anyway,
I Google.
barely. What was I Google?
It was like a customizable Google homepage. So you could have like
Yes.
widgets and shit.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
remember that.
Back whenever like Yahoo was still like the homepage for a lot of people because you still had like web portals.
I always know.
Kind of like what MSN still is for everyone that doesn't change their homepage.
I remember when I worked tech support 10 years ago, and I had to remote into somebody's computer, and they still used AOL. Like, not the broadband service, but that was what they
the
used
browser.
to access. Yeah, and I was like, what are you doing? Anyway, thank you for being here. We will be, well, I won't be here, but Connor and Cyberpunk Monk might be here next week.
Me and me.
Connor.
Oh yeah, Connor and Aroa. There we go. We'll be there next.
I'm gonna practice up my ventriloquism.
You can do it. Thank you for being
This
here.
time
Goodbye.
he's gonna be both voices.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.